Hello, my friends. Welcome to Poetry Changes Lives. I just wanted a word about poetry, its many aspects. Reading poetry can have such an effect on me, I find, and I think on a lot of people. It can inspire you, it can make you happy or sad or reflective. It can give you great insights into life, just the way people talk about ordinary things sometimes really makes you sit up and think, gosh, I wish I'd thought of that before. And then on the other hand, there's writing poetry yourself, which has such a therapeutic effect on many people. I do it sometimes, particularly when I'm feeling bored or sometimes when I'm angry or when I'm just sort of at a loss about what to think about a particular situation. I find trying to write a poem about it can really help. Situations such as relationship difficulties, or when I find myself feeling angry, writing a poem can really, really help me, I find. And I hope it might help you, perhaps, if you've never tried it. Why not, if you're sitting in a bus or a train feeling very bored, why not just try writing a poem about how you feel, just one or two lines, and something to look back on later and say to yourself, gosh, I was feeling bored then, but at least I did something about it. I wrote this little book of my poems, not because I think I'm a great poet at all, just to show, particularly to show some of my students, because I used to do creative writing workshops, just to show them that you can use poetry writing as a bit of fun and change your own mood and give yourself something to look back on. I can look back on this book and think, well, yes, it's a demonstration of how you can write poetry for, not just the purpose of hoping that one day you might become Poet Laureate of England, but just to amuse yourself. And I put illustrations from comic books beside each poem. You can see some of the illustrations here, they're just to make the whole thing light-hearted. And I'll read you a couple of these just to show you what I mean. Here's one I wrote, don't try this at home. Newtonian don't try this at home. Newtonian physicists say that saucers can't fly. I proved this today when making some tea. I dropped one and it broke at my feet. Words cannot describe the gravity of the situation. I remember that moment now. I wouldn't have remembered it otherwise. Here's another poem I wrote about a relationship. It's called Flashback. Time passes too much. Aching recall, human touch, diffidence screams, regret in my heart, memories engulf, till death us do part. And another one about a relationship, short and sweet this. A miss, a look, a laugh, a kiss, a drink, a bed, a night, a bliss, a drink, a double, a fear, a trouble, a doubt, about, a night, a fight, away. Here's another one about a relationship. It's called At First It Was Pleasant. Here we are. She said, till I saw what was in you, I was happy with save and continue. I shan't explore what you are for. We're incomplete. Press delete. I also wrote a few poems just at moments of sort of boredom and perhaps anxiety. There's so much to be anxious about in the world. Here's a little one I wrote. I've found the stillest waters do run deep, do run deep. I thought a grief resolved would help one sleep, help one sleep. They told me to cheer up, you'll soon be dead, soon be dead. The mists will clear, you'll see the way ahead, the way ahead. That's all. I was feeling quite depressed that day, I think. Here's one called A Walk in the Park. Blossom in January, blooms in the snow, petals on my cheek, a gift to my anxious mood as I stumble in wet shoes, unfit for purpose. Frozen footprints in mud that groans and sighs, nervous dogs on ice listen for the crack, slipping on cold paws, unfit for purpose. How long will winter last? Will summer give us back some joy to lighten our mood? Stumbling on we go in hope, our weary feet unfit for purpose. Eyes streaming in the wind of change as we look back, hoping to find out tomorrow in history's happy haven, fearful of a world gone wild, where truth with had double meaning and destiny's a dirty word. Who dares stand on the parapet and call for truth, putting principles before personalities, unfit for purpose? And finally, here's one I wrote on a long train journey north. Sometimes I go on the train to Scotland. It takes 5 hours sometimes, and it gets quite boring. This is just called Train Journey. That sideways jerk, just as you're getting up to see if the toilet's free. The one that isn't out of order at the end of carriage D. You lurch into a couple on a date, and then into an overweight person in a tracksuit, trainers on feet. Does he think we think that he's some kind of athlete? Rapid little bumps as if the wheels are going over corrugated iron strips. This is supposed to be a railway. This train doesn't rattle, it trips and moans. People don't hear it. They're all on their phones or frowning into their laptop screens. Cheese and onion crisps are finished. Water bottles all diminished. We're running late, but there's no point in sighing and making a fuss. It's quicker than the bus. Railway journeys always have a terminus. And it could be worse. We might be flying. That's all for today. Thank you very much for listening.